Another thing we can do to strings is actually add them to other strings. This is called string concatenation, and it's basically joining strings together to build a longer string. Say, for example, the driver's first name was Hamish and the last name was Blake. Here, I've declared two different variables, driver's first name and driver's last name, and I've initialized the driver's first name to be Hamish and the driver's last name to be Blake. Now, we can actually do something like this, where I've created a new string called driver full name, and it is actually equal to just the sum of those two strings, driver first name plus driver's last name. What this plus is doing is it's just joining this variable string here to this variable string there. So I'm expecting that the driver full name string would have the string Hamish Blake in it. Let's print it out using the system out println statement to see what's inside. And the output that I get is Hamish Blake. Oh, it seemed like it didn't put a space between them though. Well, this is because I've just joined those two strings together, which didn't have any spaces in them. And that's what the string concatenation does. It just joins those strings without doing anything extra. So let's see how we can add an extra white space in here. So what I'm actually doing is I'm concatenating the first name plus a string that has the white space in it plus another string which has the last name in it, which made our output become Hamish space Blake. Perfect. You can also use string concatenation to join strings with numbers. This trick is very handy when printing out some information using the println statement. Remember this example where we declared the stops and fare variables and we kept on updating them? Well, if we wanted to print out the variable stops and fare, we can just add two different println instructions and the output would be 3 and 15, like so. But what if we wanted to print out something like this? The bus made $15 after 3 stops. A full sentence that has both the variables' values in it. This can be done using a command like that. It's just a normal println command, but it has a lot of string concatenations inside. Let's investigate it step by step. The first part here is string literal, which is just strings within quotation marks. So that's going to be printed out exactly as we typed it in, all the way from the bus made and then the $sign, like so. And then we have this plus sign, which is concatenating something. This happened to be the variable fare. So Java would actually go and look up what's inside that variable fare because it's not surrounded by quotation marks, and it will print out the value stored inside, which happened to be 15. And then another string concatenation happening here, but this time it's concatenating this string literal after. So that gets printed out exactly as it is. And then another string concatenation with the variable stops. So Java goes and looks up what's stored inside the variable stops, which happen to be 3. And that's what gets printed out. And then finally, the string literal stops. So with this instruction, our output becomes the bus made $15 after 3 stops. If each of those variables had different values in it, then the output would have changed. Notice how I've added some space inside some of the string literals here, but I didn't add a space, for example, after that $sign. This is because I wanted no spaces between the $sign and the number here, but I do want spaces before and after the word after, which I did down there. Same goes for the word stops. I just added another space before that as well. So remember that Java would only consider spaces inside the quotation marks. And if you don't put them, then words would be close to each other without any spaces in between. Fantastic. So now you know how to use string concatenation to join strings together or even join variables with strings.